Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, March 24th, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. With the recent closure of the Ebenezer Theodore Joshua Airport, questions are being raised as to how the legacy of this country's first premier will be remembered. The issue was raised at the remembrance ceremony held on Thursday, the 23rd March, for the late leader at the Kingston Cemetery. SVG-TV News' Sharon Garway tells us more in this report.
Described as a grassroots politician and trade unionist who fought tirelessly for the rights of the marginalized and working class, Ebenezer Theodore Joshua was remembered on Thursday, March 23, 2017, at a wreath-laying ceremony held at the Kingston Cemetery, hosted by the Ministry of Tourism and Culture. The event was also held as part of Heritage Month activities and saw the reading of scripture as well as tributes in song. Granddaughter Donette Brody spoke on behalf of her father, Stanley Jeremiah Johnson. Brody highlighted that her grandfather, E.T. Joshua, who in his early career was a teacher, traveled also to Trinidad and then Guyana, where he was further energized to fight against the establishment. As one of the pioneers in the trade union movement, the granddaughter of Joshua noted that he got strong tutelage under Trinidad's Uriah Butler and St. Vincent's George Charles. She also pointed out that Joshua formed the People's Political Party (PPP) in 1952 and then won 5 seats in the 1957 general elections and became chief minister. Brody also outlined other outstanding aspects of Joshua's career, such as his work as a trade unionist and his fight for the rights of the spiritual Baptists. She questioned how the legacy of her grandfather would be remembered now that the E.T. Joshua Airport at Arnisville, which was named in his honor, had been decommissioned.
Are we going to discard this great black Vincentian politician's name and erase him from our history? He has contested 8 general elections and have won his seat on all occasions. He was the first chief minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He was the first politician to build schools and educate our people. He had fought with the colonists for the rights and justice for the poor working class people for this country. He has risked his own life fighting the British plantation owners for the rights and privileges for the working class people. And he has paved the way for our independence. An unbeaten record. What are we going to do with this man's name? Ebenezer Theodore Joshua.
General Secretary of the National Workers' Movement, Noel Jackson, says Joshua must be given his due. He also praised Joshua for always putting the advancement of the people over his own financial gain and self-aggrandizement.
There are some persons who today are millionaires, but they never walked the path of Ebenezer Joshua. That is to say, they never had the influence in government. They never had the opportunities that Joshua had to enrich themselves. But they are filthy rich. Joshua died a pauper. Why? Because his mission was not to enrich himself, but to ensure that the consciousness of the grassroots people, that the freedom of the spiritual Baptists of the country gained attention.
Members of the Mount Carmel Spiritual Baptist Church as well as drumming groups were also present and made tributes. A wreath was laid at the resting place of this country's first premier. Sharon Garway reporting for SVG Television News.
Cultural Officer Anthony Tibbers called on the public to come up with creative ways to pay homage to Joshua.
Adding something of a bugle fanfare at the time that we lay the wreaths, or having a PowerPoint presentation or a video that could be shared with our schools to tell the story in an ongoing way beyond the ceremony. And so whatever thoughts you have for trying to keep the memory of E.T. Joshua in the name of E.T. Joshua in the memory of our nation, I urge you, please make the submissions, write to us so that we have records that we can make use of.
Omnibus operators here must get their act together and take the safety of their passengers more seriously. That's the appeal coming from President of the Insurance Association of SVG and the General Manager of Century Insurance, Fidel Taylor, as he spoke with SVG-TV News about concerns of insurance companies regarding insuring omnibuses. Taylor said that within the last 3 to 5 years, underwriters of motor vehicle insurance policies which cover omnibuses have experienced significant losses. Highlighting some statistics from Century Insurance, Taylor noted that the company, which insures a small fraction of the 1,300 operating omnibuses in the state, have collected around $350,000 in insurance, but has paid out over $700,000. Taylor noted that the situation is even more bleak for other companies, a situation which has prompted some to stop covering omnibuses, with others considering taking the same action. Taylor noted that with the situation spiraling out of control, serious action is needed.
Serious action, speedily action to curb this problem. Last year, one minibus decided that he's not coming down Annisvale after he leaves the roundabout, so he's gonna go up Queens Drive and come over Boom Boom. And as he tried to exit, in front of Fine Things above the airport there, he collided and had a pileup of 5 vehicles. It cost us $250,000, and most of it had to do with bodily injuries, and I am scared because it looks like it's gonna get worse if something is not done about it, and we really have to take control of the situation before it gets worse.
Speaking on the proposed workshop by the SVG Omnibus Association as a positive step in the right direction, Taylor said it is important to get all omnibus operators and owners involved in the process.
Yes, I think the proposal for NOBA is an excellent step forward. We can't just be in the public talking. What I'm doing here is good, but it's not enough. That's why I'm saying we need to sit down. So that workshop is an excellent move. So I'm encouraging the van operators and owners to attend the workshop and sit down, and let's not argue. Let's discuss and plan and come out of that workshop with a strategy that will uplift St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Noting that several stakeholders, including the Ministry of Education, have raised serious concerns about the safety of children being transported to and from school, Taylor took the opportunity to appeal to omnibus operators to take the safety of themselves and their passengers more seriously.
You have to drive as though the life that you're saving is your own. You need to slow down. You need to be smarter, wiser, more caring, more friendly. It's not about the driving and so alone. There are other issues that are coming to the fore. But I said we need to work together. I applaud you on the work that you do. It's a tremendous task, but there are lots of shortcomings that need to be addressed. So van drivers, you really need to pull yourselves together. We cannot let things spiral out of control, because if you don't pull yourselves together and address the issues that we are dealing with, insurance companies are not going to want to insure you, and it's going to be difficult.
Noting that the increase of foreign direct investment to this country stands as a key initiative in 2017 to propel economic growth, Country Manager of First Citizens Investment Services, FCIS, SVG, Nolan Gabriel, has said that to achieve such growth, some key issues must be first addressed. Presenting a local market review at the 2017 FCIS Global Market Outlook and Review Seminar on Thursday, Gabriel pointed out that attention must be paid to how the country is doing business.
Increases in foreign direct investment to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And what we have seen is that a lot of the other countries in the ECCU are doing this, looking at tourism investment, but they're also doing so by Citizens by Investment programs, which St. Vincent and the Grenadines has a stated policy that we will not pursue that. We're going to look at foreign direct investment. We have to be realistic and look at how we are doing in terms of the ease of doing business, and we are not doing great. So we're ranked 125 out of 190 countries, but the areas in which we really need improvement just about immediately is in registering property, getting credit, and resolving insolvency. And I've seen that for those insolvency issues that have come up thus far, we've seen how it would have dragged. But to attract investors, we really need to get it together in these key areas.
Gabriel outlined other key measures for 2017, which will promote economic growth and development in SVG.
Would be an increase in the value-added tax of 1% that Banji talked about, and that's supposed to yield about $10 million. An increase in the departure tax, and that is supposed to yield about $5 million. Enhanced tax collection, and this is really key for us, because if you go back to the first slide we saw in the budget where we talked about where our revenues are coming from, if the majority of it is tied to tax receipts, we have to be very efficient in this and ensure that we are really going and ensuring that everyone is paying their fair portion of tax, and we're very efficient in our collection. And the last measure is fiscal consolidation, all towards that 2030 goal of reducing debt to GDP. In addition to that, in terms of reducing our dependence on short-term debt.
Describing them as headwinds, the FCIS country manager further highlighted issues which he said need urgent attention in the local market.
Sluggish global growth and its effect on tourist arrivals and foreign direct investments. The continued political and economic disruptions that we may see from Brexit and from a Trump presidency. The financial sector challenges from the rising costs, those are not going to go away. The potential impact on tourism arrivals from increased departure tax. Foreign exchange constraints experienced by some of our regional trading partners. It specifically relates to mainly Barbados and Trinidad, and where their economies are currently, and the fact that it's getting a lot more difficult for them to source EC and US currency. So this is an issue for us because we have a lot of our agricultural producers who sell to these countries. In addition to that, it can also spill over to manufacturing, because in our manufacturing sector, we are exporting in the region. And if our clients are having issues sourcing the foreign exchange to pay us, then it can create a little bit of an uncomfortable situation from a business standpoint. So that is something that we do have to pay some close attention to.
With the recent decision by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to place a temporary ban on corned beef and other meat and poultry products coming from Brazil, Vincentians have been calling for more support to be given to the nation's farmers. SVG-TV caught up with some members of the public today in capital Kingstown who are in full support of the ban and called for the consumption of more locally produced food.
Yeah, but Vincentian like can't be. And that could cause 20 people get sick. So you have to ban it. You know what? Don't waste some time, get rid of all one time.
I mean, I believe the ban for the corned beef is the best thing that they do. Take it off the shelf and do investigation in it and so on. Well, it is best if you eat more local, it's more healthy and everything like that, less calories and all that and so forth. So it is best if we can, you know what I mean, produce more local stuff and everything like that, so that it will be better for everybody instead of importing corned beef and all that from Brazil, which we don't really see how it makes. So if they have a problem with it, I best they pull it off the shelf.
Well, for me, I think the public should focus on eating more greens and vegetables and forgot about canned beef. Because we can't beef make them sick and all this kind of thing. Yeah. But I don't know much about what's going on with why they say that the canned beef must come off the shelf and thing, you know. But I think they should take them off. So.
I'm not so sure if the public is fully aware of what is happening, because on one hand you hear the ministry responsible enact the ban, and then you hear the Brazilian ambassador to St. Vincent saying that the company that sends product to St. Vincent, they are not as part of those that are banned on the ban list. So I'm a bit confused. So I think that the ministry involved and the ambassador could sit down, work things out, and go from there. You know, that's my position on it. Well, I have always been one for local production, and I think that we are a small country and we could sustain ourselves as far as meat products are concerned. So as you say, it could be a wake-up call so that Vincentians could be more aware that we can use the opportunity, encourage local production, and the money would spread, circulate better in the country. If we as a country do something like that, it will help the economy all around.
President of the Insurance Association of SVG, Fidel Taylor, is also supporting the view that Vincentians need to eat more locally produced foods. Taylor told SVG-TV News that too much processed foods are being consumed here and that it is time Vincentians embrace more of what they produce.
This whole matter with this corned beef situation is worrying, is frightening, and more we are experiencing a flood of fake foods. You know, I call it fake foods that is being shipped to us from different countries. St. Vincent and the Grenadines are accustomed to grow our own foods, and I would like to say to Vincentians to eat what you grow, support local, change your diet. You know, we eat too much of packaged food, too much of processed food, and that goes to me too. I am doing my part in making the adjustment, and we all need to.
Taylor added that supermarkets and food suppliers also have a role to play in promoting the consumption of local foods.
Even the vegetables and fruits that we're importing, they are loaded with chemicals. So that's my take on it. That's my honest opinion. I mean, when I look at the amount of fruits and vegetables and other agricultural produce that we have in this country, I believe that we really should be consuming more of it. You know, when I look at what's happening on the other hand, where we're importing a ton-load of foreign vegetables, I have issues with that. You know, yes, there may be challenges with the local farmers, but I'm sure it is nothing that we can't work out. So the writing is on the wall. As a nation, we need to work together, get our act together, and support local. It's healthier. It might be a little more costly, but we will live longer.
The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, is sending out a stern warning for persons to refrain from tampering or removing any equipment that is used to monitor seismic activity at the Lasso Freire volcano. This, as news broke earlier today, that the wires to one of the seismic stations were cut and a seismic station installed in January was damaged. NEMO's acting director, Michelle Forbes, is appealing to persons to refrain from such action.
One of the technicians realized that the equipment, the seismic stations, were vandalized. There are two seismic stations at Fancy at the moment. One has been there for quite a while, and we just installed one with the Seismic Research Center in January. One of the seismic stations, the older one, the lines were cut, and the other ones, they were all dug up and damaged, ready to, like, it appears as if they were getting ready to move away the solar panels from the new piece of equipment. Now, these seismometers are there to monitor activities, any seismic activity relating to the Lasso Freire volcano. These seismic stations, they're very sensitive. So one of the first signs of anything unusual at the volcano is seismic shakes or ground shakes, earthquakes, whereby magma or materials from the from the way down in the Earth's crust is trying to move its way to the surface. And as they try to move to the surface in event of a volcanic eruption, they actually create, as they move, they create movements and activities that the seismic stations pick up. And these seismic stations are there for a reason, so they can monitor those kind of activities.
Forbes said it is not the first time such acts have occurred and that they need to stop because this can prevent the Seismic Research Center from monitoring earthquakes or volcano effectively. NEMO is urging anyone with information on damage to the equipment to contact the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force at 456-2906. That's 456-2906. Meanwhile, Forbes noted that NEMO will be launching a Tsunami Smart program in Union Island starting this weekend.
This weekend, actually beginning Monday, we have a team from the Seismic Research Center coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines for us to continue what we call the Tsunami Smart program in Union Island. So we'll be joining to Union Island on Monday, Sunday, Monday. We'll be doing what we call the Tsunami Smart, and Tsunami Smart really just means that you need to be aware, be smart, and if there's a tsunami, what you're going to do. Know the signs, know the warnings, and know what to do in the event of a tsunami. So we are going to, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the Seismic Research Center, we will be doing what we call the Tsunami Smart Teacher Training Program in Union Island, and also some of the training for the community members. We have a community meeting at 6 o'clock on Monday afternoon at the Stephanie Brown, I think it's Mary Hutchinson Primary School. So we'll be there speaking to you about volcano activities, tsunamis in general, because we are going to develop tsunami plans in collaboration with the community, evacuation plans and tsunami inundation maps for Union Island, and also tsunami plans and evacuation routes for the schools.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Red Cross Association is expressing solidarity with the people of the South American country of Peru in the wake of ongoing major flooding in that country, which has left close to 100 people dead and more than 70,000 homeless. President of the National Red Cross Association, Bernard Morgan, said they are doing their part to mobilize assistance for the people of Peru in their time of need.
More than 600,000 people were affected. 70,000 people are homeless. 400 hospitals were damaged. That is just to give you an idea of the human suffering thus far. Now, we in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, our National Society, wish at this point to extend solidarity to the National Red Cross Society of Peru and also to the people of Peru. We also want to extend condolences to the relatives of the relatives and families of the persons who lost their life in this very tragic event. The Red Cross will consider further initiatives and action in the context of the Caribbean response to this very devastating disaster.